Hey everybody, welcome to Board Online, Board Offline. Today we've got the second part of our two-part video series, Pax Transhumanity. Be sure to check out the first part if you missed it. That's where we did the setup, and I did a kind of a brief rules explanation there. I'm not going to get into a full rules explanation during either of these videos. You can come back. I should be getting a how to play up at some point in the relatively near future to really go into detailed instructions on how to play this game. So before we get down to the table and start the gameplay, I want to mention our sponsor, Board Game Co. This is a great website where you can buy, sell, and trade your way into a better collection. Board Game Co. has just a great selection of games over there with great prices, and they're willing to buy games from you as well. They will link right into your Board Game Geek account. They can tell you what games you have that they want, what games they have that you want, and besides buying them from you, selling them to you, they will also trade with you using that same system. So be sure to check out Board Game Co. There's a link in the description below so they know that I sent you over there. Board Game Co. makes it easy to buy your way into, let me try that again. Board Game Co. makes it easy to buy, sell, and trade your way into a better collection. Sorry y'all, it is very early and one of my kids was not sleeping last night at all. All right, let's get down to the table and we're going to start this game of Pax Transhumanity. All right, so welcome back. I made a few adjustments here and I think I've got everything pretty much fit into the screen all at once. So that should be really helpful in getting and allowing me to focus on playing the game itself, because this game does require a lot of kind of concentration to make sure you're not missing rules, that sort of thing, and just really probably to win it in general. And the only thing that's off the screen is you got the discard pile here, or I'm sorry, the Exoglobal deck, which is what the AI cards or the AI opponents will be using. And then the discard pile, just the general discard pile for both this deck and the main draw deck, is just down here off screen. You shouldn't really need to know what's in that deck, I don't believe. I can't think of any time when that's really been something I need to know, so that shouldn't be a problem. Now, one thing I did forget to do in the setup video is my starting capital. I have 1 cube in capital. I have 5 cubes in wealth and 2 cubes in debt. So every whether you're the blogger, the doctor, the colonel, or the civilian, which is the pink color, regardless of which one you are, everybody starts with 8 cubes in various places. You can see that the doctor would have, the AI opponents don't use this chart at all, this board at all for those purposes, but you can see that it would have 3 cubes in capital, 3 in wealth, 2 in debt. The blogger starts with 6 in wealth, 2 in debt, and the civilian would start with 2 in capital, 4 in wealth, and 2 in debt. Oh, and by the way, these little boxes don't come with the game. This is something that I 3D printed from Thingiverse. I will put a link. You see it actually, I kind of didn't quite get a good connection there. I'm still learning with my 3D printer, but I'm really starting to hone it in. Anyway, I'll put a link to the insert. This is an insert specifically for Pax Transhumanity. I'll put a link to that in the description below. And eventually I'm going to have all the colors matched up. I just happen to have only yellow and red filament right now. And that's why that's the colors that I've got going here. All right, so let's get on to the game. So the very first thing I'm going to do, because I want to try to get over here in space and deal with that, it's really hard to do if it's not subsidized. So this utility fog here, you can see its special ability is all your work is subsidized. So if I were to syndicate this idea card here, then I would be able to have all my work be subsidized, keeping things more manageable, cheaper, that sort of thing. And it has these surge arrows, which mean I can then also syndicate for free any card above it that has either orange or blue. So basically, any of these cards I could syndicate for free. Cool thing is, surges roll. So well, you know what? Let's just go and do this. All right, so here's what we're going to do. First, using this chart, which is fantastic. By the way, this comes with the game. The only thing is research is not correct, the flow for research. So whenever I'm doing research, I always go back and reference the living rule book. Everything else is good to go here. So when I'm going to syndicate something, which means I'm going to invest in an idea in the market for its abilities, commercialization potential, or to block an opponent. So first, does the card have an opponent syndication? Well, no, it doesn't. I'm the first player going here. All right, so then if red arrow means no, so it does not have an opponent syndication, I then just pay the market cost. All right, market cost is 0. I don't have to pay anything. Are there uncovered white heat squares on the card? There are not. Now, there are black heat squares. So let's look at this. Utility fog. A network of shape-shifting, self-assembling nanorobots under the control of a Turing CPU. The centralized control prevents a gray goo outbreak. The release of all-consuming replicating assemblers. So this the black heat here is something that's optional. I can put it on there if I want to. Again, covering these up means that when the cubes that are covering it are up there in the human progress, potentially they're going to be worth some points at the end of the game, depending on how the game ends. But also having this covered when it's up there will prevent negative effects when certain big events happen in the game. Now, early on, I'm not sure how much I want to worry about that. I think for now, I'm going to not worry about covering up the black heat there. So what I have to do when I'm syndicating, got to take my uppermost cube, put it right there. So now I have this ability, all your work is subsidized. All right, so that's great. So let's finish the flow so you can see how this works. So pay the market cost. Are there uncovered white heat squares on the card? No. Install the topmost agent from the finance board to the card. Do you activate surge? Yes. And so then you loop back around up to here, and we keep going like that. So surging. If I were to surge onto this one, now I will get the diamond fiber. There's no special ability here, but it does prime the card for commercialization, which is how you activate these impacts. But more importantly, this is another surge, and that surge rolls on as well. So you can see flux pinning, then allows me to move up. So here we have electro-optics would be the surge for this. It's just a thematic name for something that happens with diamond fiber. Let's see. And so I could surge up from there. And, oh yeah, here we go. Definitely. All right, so we'll go ahead and take that one. Okay. And then, actually, real quick, we are going to do all this. I just realized something in order to better optimize my move here. My first action, you get 2 actions per turn. My first action will be that I will fundraise. And all fundraise means, this one's the simplest one in the game for the most part, is I can divest if I wanted to. So I could take that patent down and bring it to me, but I'm not. I'm going to leave it there. There's nothing else on the board, so nothing else to divest. Then you move anything in your capital. You move 1 cube down from your capital, and in return, bring 1 debt up. And then if I had another one on the capital, I could do that to bring the other one up. I don't, so this debt stays there. Then after you've done as much as you can of that, all your wealth goes to capital, okay? So now let's go on and do what we were doing here. So I went there, okay? And then using the surge, I'm going to go here. All right, and using that surge, I'm going to go here to graphene applications. And this ability says may ignore placing heat during syndications. All right, so that will allow me, for instance, over here, Pebble Fission, as we talked about in the setup, if I were to syndicate this, I would then also have to put 2 cubes on here because of the 2 white heats there. All right, but that's my 2 actions. I did fundraiser, and then I did syndication. So now we move on to the AI opponent. We see which one's going to go first. Well, which one has the least cubes? They have the least out on the board. They both have the exact same number of cubes on the board, 0. So then it goes in player order, which is blue and then red. And so blue is going to be our AI for this go round. All right, so really for them, the only thing that matters here is first, what they're going to do is try to syndicate a yellow card. As you can see, there actually are no yellow cards out here, so we don't have to worry about that. And then the last thing that they will do is all of the impacts here. So we have infirmity, which means they're going to actually deal with the problem of infirmity in the first world. So they claim that shit, and that goes just right there. So the blogger will be able to use that for scoring at the end of the game, as long as, in certain situations, as we discussed in the setup. And then this icon means for them something entirely different than it does for me. For me, that icon would give me a new worker from my pool. For them, though, instead, you can see that it would let them commercialize a card in the market that is syndicated by them. Well, they don't have anything syndicated yet, so it doesn't do anything. So that was actually a pretty easy round for me as far as the AI goes. So back to me. So if I commercialize utility fog, I'll get a company over there in the space sphere, which the more of one of the big costs you're going to pay in the game is the barrier cost. So for the first world right now, there's 3 barriers that are uncovered. So the barrier cost is 3. If the work is subsidized, then I pay 3. If the work is unsubsidized, I pay 6. Okay. So the more of those I can cover up, the cheaper things get that I'm going to try to do in that sphere. And since I think I'm going to try to focus on space because I have so many space ideas out here, we're going to go ahead and start trying to get some companies over there. And again, companies are also our main focus, because when we get to 5 companies, we win the game. So now if I do this one though, I'll lose this ability of all my work being subsidized. So maybe I don't want to do that one yet. And in fact, hold on, we're forgetting an entire thing here. Before we can commercialize something, which is what would get us these impacts, it has to be viable. And right now, I don't have anything viable, and I'll have to create some viability here. The main way you're going to do that this early in the game is through research. So, all right, so what we're going to do is we're going to actually research utility fog. Before we can research it, though, we're going to have a thinker worker, okay? And it has to be in the sphere that idea is coming from. So even though the idea of utility fog is a cloud and space combination idea, it's being created in the first world right now. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to get a thinker up here. So we're going to hire. And so where are you hiring into? My own company? Well, no, I don't have any companies yet. Okay. So then I barrier utility, opponent's company. And by the way, I can't hire into opponents' companies in the solo mode, so only barriers and utilities will be possible. Remember, barriers are circles, utilities are squares. I need to pay 3. All right, so we'll go ahead and generate 3. 1, 2, 3. That's 3 money. And then we take our top guy, and we're going to hire him, and they get hired into, we'll go into cynicism here. All right, so the idea is that, as I understand it, is that whatever job he's working there in the philosophy realm of the first world, it's kind of directly combating cynicism is the idea. Or at least, trying to find a way to deal with the cynicism. So that's one action. So now we want to research. So the first thing we got to do is, now, well, actually, hold on. We might not, because if we research, it's going to cost us 4, because we have 2 barriers that are uncovered, and it's not it is all my work is subsidized. So it'll cost me 2, but I'll have these 2 guys go down to the debt without much way of pulling them out, because remember, to pull cubes out of debt, you've got to have cubes in capital. So we're going to hire, and then we'll do a fundraiser, and that'll be it for this round. That's all we're doing, kind of uneventful. All right, so the AI is going to be blue again. All right, so blue and green. All right, let's see. When you're looking to see where they go, you start on the cheapest one from the first world, work your way up. There's no blue-green. Come down cheapest one in the developing world. And here we go, blue-green right there. And by the way, it could also be green-blue, as long as it's the same colors. That goes there. All right, and so now that represents them syndicating it, and why that's bad for me is it will now cost me twice as much. So instead of paying 3 to syndicate that, I would have to pay 6. All right, so now negative shares, that really doesn't matter. But what they're going to do is they are going to create a company in fatalism to combat fatalism over here in the developing world. No, wait. Yeah, it's the developing world, right? Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. So, and remember, they can get a tycoon victory just like I can. If they get to 5 companies, then they also will win the game. And then they're going to deal with the problem of collective identity. All right, so that's their turn. All right, so now I think we're going to research. So when we research, we first obviously choose our sphere. We're doing the first world. Then the cost, which is going to be the barrier cost here. And as I said, it's not subsidized, so it'll be twice that. So I'm going to have to pay 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Technically speaking, I think you're supposed to always go 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's obviously ends up the same. Okay, so now the thinker has to perform his work. So when a worker initiates work, they actually move down a level. So I can move him into the Western universities or fiduciary media. I'm going to move into fiduciary media because what that's going to do is allow me to use this worker for either thinking or making next time as a thinker or maker. So next up, we have to remove whenever you do research, you remove the lowest card of that sphere. All right. So I remove utility fog. Remember, I have the 1 syndication on it. And now, before we do anything else with that, all these cards slide down. The research is the only way to add cards to a row. So these slide down, and we draw from here. All right, so we've got somatic rights. So it has a bioethics surge that will allow me to surge into other green cards. The individual's right to uninheritable self-modification. And if I were to commercialize this, I would get either collective identity, which has already been claimed, so I couldn't get that. So instead, I would get a thinking company in the developing world. So now I could accept this as patents, which would mean that I could get a blue patent and a orange patent and put it over there on the human progress, on the patents section of human progress over there. But those patents would come from the top of my board here, and I'm already running low. Plus, the real reason, what I really want to make sure I do is keep this so that all my work is subsidized. When you get so it becomes what's called a think tank now. So this is my personal research now that nobody has access to. Before, while I was out here, if I was playing against multiple players, then they could have had access to that ability too if they syndicated it. But now it is mine and mine alone. And as long as it's the top card in my think tank, that ability, all your work is subsidized, remains in effect. Also, by having it here in the think tank, blue-orange is now a viable color scheme for me in terms of commercialization. Also, the agent, the syndicate that was on there, that is, or the syndication, that goes back into my wealth. It's divested. Okay, so that was my first action. Now, we have this here. Everything's going to be subsidized. I think what we want to do is go ahead and research one more thing, or we want to start working in that direction. So the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to fundraise as our second action this turn, and we'll probably do that again at the beginning of the next turn to get these 2 out of debt. But let's go on to the AI. And by the way, blue has 1 cube out, so this will be red this time. All right, so cultural autodidactism. That is a smart word. Okay, so we have blue-green again. And so red is going to go right here to where blue went. All right. And now I can't remember what those do. Let's take a look. I have to refer, for the Exoglobal stuff, I have to refer over here a pretty good bit. So remove the lowermost card of the sphere with the most companies plus employees. So the lowermost card of the sphere with the most companies plus employees. And so we have 1 employee here, we have 1 company there, so it's a tie. And in case of ties, use the leftmost tied sphere. All right, so that will be nanowire batteries gets taken out and discarded. And it's very specific, you do not replace that card. All right, but then you can see we have to do that again. So of course it's still the same sphere. So now diamond fiber gets taken out. My cube gets divested, so I get that back in my wealth. All right, this goes down, gets out of there. All right, and then the final thing is collective identity, but that one has already been claimed by the blogger, so the doctor doesn't get it, and that is the doctor's turn. Okay, so I think what we'll do, we're gonna fundraise. So well, actually one of them stays up. Two of them come down, which brings these two up, and then all of them go up. Now we're gonna hire over here into space. And with as many barriers as over there, normally I probably would think about going into the International Space Station or NASA for this for the subsidies, but I have utility fog, so we're good on subsidies. And we're going to hire over there into, it costs 3, hire into miniaturization, because that can be used as either a thinker or a maker. All right, those are my 2 actions. All right, this will be blue again because they're tied. Devolutionaries, yellow, green. Yellow, green right there. And then they're going to take on the mental health problem. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to research over there. Now let's think about this. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is how much it's going to cost me. So I'm going to go ahead and do a fundraiser. All right, and now let's make sure we go through this whole thing in order again. So research, we're going to pay the 6. So that's 5 right there. And then 6. And this is the lowermost card in space because it's the only card in space, obviously. All right. And let's go ahead and refill space. We have Cashless Economics, which has a blue surge for the black cyber market and has the ability, your divested cubes always go to your capital. And this ability right here, this impact, is it's a diffusal growth impact, takes a new agent from the pool and places it on any uncovered black heat square in the market or the splay. Okay, so put that out here. We've got hyper telescopy, gives me a maker company in space. Nootropics, what does that do for me? It's different than what it does for the, I believe. Social resilience impact allows you to divest 1 heat or future shock, either mine or the opponent's. So whenever I have heat or future shock out there, then I can divest it. And then also we'll get a company in the first world. Here we've got Internet of Things. So we've got that again, and then can claim slums and gain a new worker or agent. Here we've got the statistical logic board. Gold is viable. That's the ability right there. Artificial consciousness, I'll be able to claim that problem. Gain a worker or an agent from the pool. But then also lose a worker out here back to the pool unless I also cover the black heat. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Hold on. Only occurs if the card... Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. Only occurs if the card is commercialized without heat on its black heat square. Yeah, okay. And that would be not just me, but all my opponents. But obviously the AI opponents don't have workers out there, so it doesn't affect them. And finally, programmable matter. Okay, this is an epic event, as you can see there. As an action, may move an orange discipline visible in the display to the bottom of the display, then check for regime change, which we haven't seen yet, but we'll get there. So the lightning bolt symbol means that after choosing the visible discipline, then I divest all the patents of that discipline, meaning that, for instance, right now, since obviously it's orange on both sides, my orange patent would go away. I mean, it'd come back to my my finance board, but it still wouldn't be a patent anymore. And then also discard one Splay of that one Splay card of that discipline. There's no orange up there, so I'm fine, but it would potentially discard a orange one. All right, so this question mark means wild problem impact is a solution in which you can select any unclaimed problem chit. So basically, I just claim whatever problem chit I want. Now, nuclear exchange forces all players to discard a number of problems or companies in this indicated sphere according to the number of black heat squares visible in the Splay. In other words, right now the Splay doesn't have any black heat squares visible. It has one white heat square visible right here, but no black heat squares. As the cards start getting added to it, some black heat squares are probably going to be showing, and then in space, each player would have to discard a number of companies, I believe is what companies, right? Problems or companies for that sphere. So if somebody had, either the Earthbound problem or a company over there, they had to get rid of it, and it had to be equal to or less than, if you don't have enough, of the number of black heat squares. And then, of course, you get a worker. All right, moving on. So that was my research, and I did a fundraiser. Okay, so AI's turn. It's going to be the red AI. Metadata mining, okay? So they are going to go, well, first, green, blue. They already have somebody there. So down here, cashless economics for the red player. And then they would divest, or they would commercialize 2 of their companies, but they only have, oh no, they do have 2. They have this one as well. So both of their companies are going to get commercialized. Oh, hey, we never finished this. Hold on. What was I doing with this? This was my research. We forgot to finish that. We refreshed the gaps over there by filling out the space sphere. I was going to do patents with this. Pretty sure that's what I want to do. Hold on. Let me think. Because I don't want to cover that up. So yeah, I'm going to take a green and a blue patent. Actually, I'll just take a blue one. All right, then that gets discarded. Oh, we never, man, I'm all out of sorts here. We didn't move this guy. So, oh wow, he has to go into a utility from there. So we'll go down to NASA. And then the AI went, so now it's my turn again. So we will fundraise. And then we're going to syndicate over here. So we're going to syndicate hyper telescopy. It's going to cost us 1 because it's 1. And then this guy will move there. My final action will be fundraise. Yep. So now AI again. Electrodynamic tethers. And all right, you can see they are starting to hone in. By the way, this would be blue because they have the same number out. Going right there, coming onto my territory. And then they're going to go build a company to deal with space debris. By the way, when you see a symbol like this where it has the name of a specific spot, then that means that you could actually, it could be like a hostile startup, I think is what it's called. Sorry, a brash startup. And for instance, if I had gotten this card now, after he built that there, I could go in and take over that spot. Normally you can't take over a spot that already has a company, but a brash startup can. All right, so back to my turn. So if I want to commercialize hypertelescopy, or hypertelescopy, however it's pronounced, what I need, let's see. So, do you have a syndication on the idea already? Yes, I do. Is the idea viable through previous human progress? No, it's not. All we've got up there is a yellow idea under human progress. So, no. Is the idea viable through your think tank? Yes, it is, right here. And that's how I'm going to do it. Or, no, I'm going to use those patents up there, actually. So we'll say Viable through the think tank? No. Is the idea viable through patents? Yes. Will the maker employee be subsidized? Yes, because everything I do is subsidized right now. So I'm just going to pay the barrier cost, and see his company does help me in this case because it's covering that barrier. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which unfortunately means all three of these, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're all going down into debt. Hopefully that doesn't hurt me too bad. All right, so now expend the maker worker. So this guy is going to be unemployed now. Now, keep in mind, he actually would have been subsidized regardless because he came from a utility, and everything done from a utility is subsidized. So expend the maker worker, perform impacts from top to bottom. There's only one impact. I get a maker company. All right, so get my first company. And I'm going to go ahead and take, well, now let's think about this. Miniaturization is right here. So I'm not going to take miniaturization yet because I've got this brush startup that either I can use, or if the AI uses it first, they would take miniaturization away from me. And see, it's here again too. That's interesting. Let's make sure there's no other brash startups for space. Nope. Okay, so we'll go with energy density. All right, now we need to orient the discipline in the Splay, and we're going to go, because we're going to really focus on, well, let's just check one thing. But I think since we're focusing on orange, see, if we make space the dominant sphere, then commercialization is always subsidized. And so that, yeah, that's where we want to go with this. All right, but we're still under globalization right now. So we're going to make this the orientation. And if the think tank was used, which it wasn't, but the patents were used. So if the patents were used, divest them. All right, so they come down here into my wealth. All right, so now, was the maker worker for this action from a utility? No. Yes, it was. It was. So any agents that were, this one agent that was on that idea, it has to be divested. It cannot be used to create a patent. Whereas if my maker worker had not come from a utility, then I could generate patents from the agents that were on there into orange patents. All right. Which, and by the way, now that there's an orange idea up there in the human progress, each orange patent is worth 1 money if I need it to be. All your patents can potentially be used either for viability, as you saw there, because I had blue-orange patents up there, or they can be used to generate money, and they're worth the number of cards of that color that are in the human progress. All right, so regime change. No, it's not. We have 2 cards of different colors, so we're still good. No regime change. Pretty sure that was 2 actions. Pretty sure I fundraised at the beginning there. All right, so AI's turn. Let's see, it'll be red turn. Oh, wow. Okay, let's see what we got here. So they're going to do this twice, which, if I remember correctly, that means, yeah, from the sphere with the most companies plus employees. So definitely over here, Space has 2 companies and 1 employee. That counts as an employee of Space, even though they're unemployed currently. So we will take what does it say? Remove the lowermost card. Yep. All right. So the red cube goes back into its pool. That gets discarded. And then you can see that happens again. So nootropics goes away. Then red's going to take interface. Oh, we didn't, by the way, we forgot, sorry. Yellow, blue, red needs to syndicate yellow, blue, so it would have gone right here. Okay. All right, and so it took interface, and then it's going to commercialize the first company that it has on the board. And you do that the same way we look to see which one they're going to syndicate. We start down here, move up. Here's the first one we come across, the one it just syndicated. That is now going to be commercialized. And oh, I'm sorry, by the way, when a AI syndicates something, it must also cover up the white heat. So really I should have had it like this. So it must cover the white heat. It never covers the black heat. So it should have been like that when it was out. All right, so it always chooses the left idea color for its orientation. And there's that. Now the regime is still good. You look at the bottom 3 cards for regime purposes, and currently they're 3 different colors, so we're still good with globalization on that. So my turn. I feel like I'm going to lose this if I don't make it happen, but it's actually still not a possibility for me. If I could syndicate another orange card, syndicate and then commercialize another orange card, then we'd be there. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to fundraise, and no need to take that guy from unemployment because I'm about to rehire him. So we're going to move that up. And actually, you know what? I'm going to do a double fundraise. So now, like this, like that, and like that. Because initially when I fundraised that first time, I didn't have anything in capital. It was all in wealth, so they just had to go up. But now that time I was able to bring all my debt out. So now I've got quite a bit of capital. And so next turn, hopefully, will be a little bit more eventful. All right, so this time we've got red again because red only got 1 cube out. Green. I don't think we'd have no green out, so they're not going to syndicate anything. By the way, I hope I haven't missed any yet. Whenever the AI does surge when possible, obviously it's not possible here because there's nothing above it. But I need to try to remember that. Sometimes I forget that, so hopefully I didn't yet. They're going to grab social immobility and slums. And that's their turn. Okay, so here we go. We're going to hire. It's going to cost us 3. All right. Hire this guy back into, but I can't hire into, I need a thinker worker. I'm going to go back up into miniaturization. And see, the cool thing, if I'd been able to hire into my company, the cool thing with that is it doesn't cost me an action when you hire into your own company. Anyway, we want to, wait, do I need a thinker? I'm not doing research. I don't need a thinker. I will go over here. Let's go into my company. All right, so now I still have 2 actions, okay? And it would cost us 4 money to go do the statistical logic board, to syndicate it is what I'm trying to say. Can't talk. I will first fundraise. No, not enough. I will go 1, 2, 3, 4. But then am I going to fundraise anyway? So does it make sense to fundraise first? Yeah. Okay. So I will fundraise first. So 2, 3. That's how it was. All right. So I'll fundraise first. So that moves up there. And now I'm going to pay 4 to syndicate the statistical logic board. Its ability, which I don't think I'm going to use, makes gold viable to me. I keep calling it yellow. I guess it's actually gold. All right, AI turn. Red is going again because it cannot seem to keep a board presence. Stateless citizenship. All right, we have blue-green. Already has one there. It cannot re-syndicate something it's already got, so it's coming all the way over here to Internet of Things. Oh, man. Okay, so, oh, no. Look at this. It's going to completely wipe out everything I was trying to do over there. Oh. All right, so basically all 3 of those ideas are gone. Now, the question mark box for the AI means draw 1 card from the bottom of the global deck of ideas and place in a gap in the market. All right, so we don't take plurality because that's just a face-up card at the bottom. We take this. We've got effective robots. Okay, so basically we would gain a company in cynicism over in the first world and take infirmity, but that's already been taken, so that wouldn't help us. This I will put here. All right, in space. This goes back. All right, and then those, which I believe is commercialization. Yep. All right, so red's going to commercialize. Oh, no. Oh man, oh no, that's not me. I'm not blue. Sorry, I usually play blue, so that's why I was messing me up. I was thinking I'd forgotten that I had orange viable, but I don't. Okay. So red commercializes this and makes it's going to go blue, which means we're going to see our first regime change. So now you can see the bottom three cards are blue, blue, orange, which means two blue cards make cloud the dominant sphere, which means research is now free. And blue patents, computing patents, are worth double their normal amount. So they'd be worth 4.4 money right now instead of 2. And he would do it again. He would commercialize another company, another idea if he could, but he can't because he doesn't have any more syndications out. So that was the end of a very powerful turn for the doctor. So now I need to see what I can do here. That just really messed me up. Okay. Let's go up here. Yellow, orange is viable. It will allow me to gain a company for miniaturization. Oh, but I don't want to do that while this is out. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to research graph. Oh, we can't research it because I'm pretty sure research requires... Oh, no, I can. I was thinking I couldn't research if there were other people on it, but I can. All right. So we're going to do this. We have our worker up there. It'll cost me 4 money. So we're definitely going to fundraise first. And then we'll pay the 4 money to research that. All right. These guys are going to get... He goes there. All right, so we've got Pragmatic Utopia coming out. All right, so we've got the 2 green lightning bolts. Got that, which we already talked about. So we've both seen all those. This is another epic one. As an action, may move a green discipline visible in display to the bottom of the display, then check for regime change. Surveillance currency. All right, so you'll get to do a company in dark money or company in fiduciary media. And then everybody loses workers. Here we've got Sangricites. Syndicate ideas with a gold discipline for cost 0. Can take aging or infirmity. And then you got the 2 lightning bolts there, depending on which color gets commercialized, and gain an agent. And finally, we have flywheels, gain energy density company. All right, so meanwhile, this guy, what do we want to do with him? I'm going to take patents because my thinker, forgot to use him. There he goes. He's down there now. He did not come from a utility. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to take 2 patents. There we go. And this guy, of course, got divested. Okay, now that we took one of the brash startups from miniaturization out, I feel more comfortable coming after this one. So let's go ahead and syndicate. Syndicate, it costs 0. And we can then syndicate this and this. That's interesting. Or I could skip this one and go straight from here to here. But this one gives me a company. That's really what I'm trying to focus on. I'm going to leave Pragmatic Utopia alone for now, because it doesn't give me a company. I mean, it is very, very powerful, but I think I'm trying to focus on the strategy I've got going here. I got to figure out, I almost think I need to divest my worker over there in space, because I'm going to have to do research, which that worker is a maker worker. He's useless for that. I have to do research before I can do anything over there again. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and fundraise with those guys, push that up. So those are my 2 actions. All right, so now we've got red coming out again, green, blue. Over there, he's coming after space again. Hate groups. Okay, so by the way, the AIs ignore the word or. It basically just becomes and. So hate groups and slums. Hate groups, I think slums is already taken. Yep. By red, actually. And then they're going to divest that over there. So the reason why it's such a pain now is because I'm not divest. They're going to commercialize this. Divest their guy. So this goes here. Is in order to get any cards back over there in space, I'll have to do research without really getting anything from it just to fill it up. So we'll think about that. We'll see how we go, what we're going to do with that. Right now, let's focus over here on what we've got going here. So, check this out. So right now, yellow, orange is absolutely viable because we have yellow, orange there. And then after I commercialize that, if I choose yellow as my side, that will then make green yellow viable because it'll be yellow green there. So let's go with spy dust is what we're going to focus on first. So we need to hire a worker up there, which costs 3. And what are we doing? We're commercializing, so we want it to be a maker. Oh, right now research costs 0, by the way. Now, you know what? I've got that set up. I can come back to this next time, but now's the perfect time to get space refilled. Because after I commercialize, but if I wait, I might be missing my opportunity, and they may come in and sweep these and take these companies from me. Yeah, I'm going to wait. I'll hold off. Let's focus on getting these companies. Don't get distracted by the shiny object. Okay. So in order to do this, we're going to, it'll cost us 4. Ooh. If instead I hire into the defense contractors instead, if I put it there, that is a utility, so it'll be subsidized. It'll cost me 3. Yeah, check this out. So it cost me 3 to commercialize, right? So let's make sure we follow this along. Do you have syndication on the idea already? I do. I'm doing spy dust. Is it viable to previous year in progress? It is up there. Will the maker employee be subsidized? He will. So pay the barrier cost, which is 3. Each of these is worth 1 because there's 1 orange idea up there right now. So that's 2. They get divested down here. And then the third one will come from this capital moving down into my wealth. All right, expend the maker worker. He's unemployed again. Perform impacts top to bottom. Well, first I get either miniaturization or I can gain a new employee. I'm definitely going to go get miniaturization. Okay. And then we do the lightning bolts again, the industry disruption impact. So after choosing the visible discipline, which is going to be yellow, this guy, by the way, gets divested. All right. So we're going to go yellow. All right. Divest all patents of that discipline. There's no patents of that up there. Then discard 1 Splay card of that discipline. All right. Well, we will discard the top one. And there we go. We're good to go with that. All right. So this will be red again. Red is taking all the turns from blue. Green, yellow, right here. Oh, look, they are just conglomerating right there on the same spot as me. I need to make sure I commercialize that this turn. They're going to get a blue maker company. Let's throw them here. Well, actually, do we have one? Any brash startups? We don't. Okay. All right. So now for me, so this is viable. I need to hire another worker. So we'll go ahead and fundraise. Oh, real quick, sorry. A commercialization has caused the regime to change. We're back to globalization, so all work in the developing world is now subsidized. I've been doing so much work in the first world, and there's all these subsidies everywhere else that I'm not using. It's probably not the best strategy. Anyway, I fundraised, and now I will hire into the dark money, hoping they don't commercialize this time. Here we go. Okay, they're not commercializing. Who is it, by the way? It is blue, finally. Blue-yellow. Not doing anything. All right, but they are going to draw one from the bottom of that. Ooh, a tipping point. Okay, so now, see, this is the hardest difficulty, remember? I have not seen a tipping point come out in solo play yet, so here we go. Basically, if this gets commercialized, is that right? Let's see. Tipping point. Yeah, when a tipping point card is commercialized, the game ends, all right? I think I can put this wherever I want. Is that what? Any gap in the market. Okay, so yeah, so I will put it here. I guess that's a good spot. Okay, I need to try to. All right, okay, let's do this. Oh, they had one more thing. They're also getting a thinker company for the cloud. And who was that? That was Blue. So Blue's got 3 companies out right now. Got to keep an eye on that. All right, so here we go. My turn. I've got my maker worker. I'm going to commercialize this. All right, so have the syndication. It is viable. Will not be subsidized. So it's going to cost me 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All that's in wealth. Okay. Expend the worker. I'll drop him down to there. That way, thinker or maker. Perform impacts top to bottom. Collective identity. It's already been claimed. And that's really what I want anyway. I want the company. So a thinker company for the developing world will take the women's health barrier. All this gets... So I could generate patents now. And so am I going to go... Let's look at which way I want to go with this. If I want to go green or yellow. So if I go green, hiring will cost 0. That actually could be very helpful. If I go yellow, everything has surge arrows of both colors. Interesting. I'm going to go green. So the developing world is now the dominant sphere because this is going to go right here. So you can see it's green, yellow, green. You know what? Let's focus on the developing world. We've got opportunities for company. We've got 1, 2, 3 company opportunities here. So I'm going to go in and hire. Hiring costs 0. I'm going to hire right there. Oh, and that's not even an action because that's my own company. In that case, I'll also... I'll go on ahead. I'll fundraise. All right. Oh my gosh, y'all! That last time I'm not gonna figure out how to take it back now, but I shouldn't have paid that extra because all my work's subsidized. At that time, I've been forgetting about this because I know I went to the utility one time because I wanted to make sure I was subsidized. Hate when that happens. Okay. Anyway, moving on. AI's turn. We have blue coming out. Green, blue. Nothing on the board, but they will take education. Oh man, that is their 4th company. All right, let's get a company on the board here, y'all. All right, so we will syndicate synthetic wombs, and so we have to put a. Here, so let me show you this real quick. Let's read this. So synthetic wombs, the description is the use of extracorporeal embryonics instead of traditional childbearing, especially in circumstances where genetic repairs or improvements are desired. And then you can see this the heat from that and future shock Catholics over here. We have to placate the Catholics. That's what's represented by putting another agent there on the white heat. And then another one that we probably should placate, but we can leave it alone if we want to, is the moral majority. All right, so like I said, syndicate, then we have to put one there. And now in order to deal with this, which again is, what's it called? It's called the Exoglobal recession impact. We're going to go ahead and put one of the black heat there as well. So that was my first action, was to syndicate that. Now we're going to go ahead and do a commercialization. All right, so we have it syndicated. It is viable through human progress. Will the maker employee be subsidized? Yes, because everything is. Pay the barrier cost. That's going to be 3. All right, expend the worker. Now the worker cannot go here. In the solo game, I cannot go into AI companies. So I'll have to either go to urban China or India. Do I want a thinker or a maker? Probably, I think I might need to do a thinker. Let's go down here. Okay. From the impacts. So women's health is that, but you can see with brash impacts, I could do it as a normal company startup or on the barrier, and it just lets me take over that one from another player if that were the case. But you can see I already have women's health, so I'll obviously go to a different maker. We'll go, what do we want to do? We want to take on corruption or piracy? Let's take on corruption. Okay. All right, so then this let's see. Well, we'll hold on to that for a second. So we're going to orient it, as we said. We're going green. Yeah, we'll go green. We'll keep it the way it is. All right, and that future shock is there, and that one's there. All right, so was the maker worker from utility? No, so I could generate patents. I could get up to two patents of green, which actually, yes, I think I will do that, because right now green patents are worth 6 money. No regime change. You know, sometimes I forget if I did 1 or 2 actions when I'm recording like this. Pretty sure that was 2. So we'll move on to the AI. Again, it'll be blue, so that's dangerous. Blue's got 4 companies already. If they get a company here, they win the game. Okay, we're good. All right, so I always forget that. Is that the one where they take it off the bottom, I think? Yeah, social resilience. Yes, okay. All right, so let's see where we're going here. That's 3 companies right over here for sure, developing world. So metal air batteries are going to go away. Then they're going to take disenfranchisement from the first world. And, oh man, so now I lose a worker. Discard one of my employees to the pool. All right. So they don't go back. They don't get divested. They actually go over here. I'm pretty sure I still want my developing world. So we'll take this guy. No, because right now I don't have. That's not viable, and that's not viable, but this is viable. There's 2 blues next to each other up there. So we're going to keep this worker, and this worker is going to end up taking a hit there. Oh, we forgot, though. Universal basic income gives blue. They're going after the pragmatic utopia. Ooh, okay. So we want to syndicate that. So we'll actually divest 1 patent, because remember, this is worth 6. I need 3 to syndicate that. All right. So it goes there, but then there we go. I think I got this. All right. So now let's commercialize the surveillance currency. Commercialize. Do you have a syndication? Yes. Is the idea viable? Yes. Over there. Will the maker employee be subsidized? Yes, everything is. I have to pay the barrier cost, which is 2. I'll pay it with these. Screw it, why not? All right, expend the worker. Boom. perform impacts top to bottom. Well, the very first impact is to put out my 5th company. And as soon as you put out your 5th company, game over. Let's look at this last card though, just so you can see what it was. Surveillance currency. Peer-to-peer online currencies attain full transparency and restrict shell companies by maintaining a blockchain public record of every transaction. Okay, so there you go. I did manage to beat it. That was the closest I've come. You know, I think you saw there that I was really pushing hard for a tycoon victory, the 5 companies from the very beginning of the game. This is the first time since I started that strategy in solo where one of the Exoglobal players, one of the AI players, came close to really challenging me, which, you know, kind of makes me wonder with Pax Transhumanity, assuming that I didn't have any major rules wrong, which I'm sure someone will let me know if I did. That kind of makes me feel like Pax Transhumanity maybe isn't as great of a solo game as, say, Pax Emancipation. Pax Emancipation, I always feel like, you know, I actually lose more than I win, and it's always, when I do win, it's always on the verge of losing. With Pax Transhumanity, it feels like you really need a player to focus on you know, challenging what you're trying to do. Whereas with the AI, as long as you prevent the AI from getting a tycoon victory by using brash startups and also pushing hard for your own tycoon victory, it feels like there's not much of a problem with containing what the AI will do in Pax Transhumanity. But like I said, if I got any major rules wrong that would have changed that, somebody please let me know so that I can, you know, make note of that in the description, but also, you know, adjust how I'm playing. And until next time, if you're bored online, bored offline.